We're going to get the inside track on them now from Spanish journalist Paco Polit. Good morning, Paco. Great to have you here on Good Morning Euros. Everyone in England is very excited about the final tomorrow. How confident are the Spanish public, though, that this Spain team can stop football coming home?
Hi, Julie. Hi, Matt. Well, definitely we are confident. I brought myself, the attire for tomorrow because it's going to be a great day, I believe, for Spanish fans. But I would say that, confidence, but not cheekiness. I think that the Spanish fans and overall the Spanish national side, I think that their performance so far in this tournament has proven that they know how to get things done, regardless of the opposition, how tough the game gets, having to come back from a difficult result, a difficult scoreline as they did against France. I think that Spain has shown that they have a wide range of different tools in order to work their way into the following round. And finally, they got to Game 7. I think that the two teams are very, very different in many ways. But definitely, if you see the road to the final that Spain has had to travel, it's much tougher than what England had to do. So overall, I would say that confidence, but not overconfidence, because so far it has worked wonders for Spain.
Now, Paco, some of the England players will be more familiar to the Spanish fans and media than others. Obviously, Jude Bellingham, very well known to all Spanish football fans. What's the narrative over there? Is there very much a plan to stop Bellingham? Do you feel like that's one of the most important parts of winning the game?
Well, I think that the most known players like Bellingham, Harry Kane, all of the City players and so on, obviously they are not new for the Spanish fans. But the narrative in the last few days, maybe the last few weeks, has focused on Gareth Southgate, mainly because of at least the perception that England has lots of talent, but loads of talent in their squad, in their lineup and in their bench. But, the manager the gaffer hasn't really been able to exploit it in a way to take advantage of that, wide range of talent that England had. And most of the criticism has gone his way. And I believe that in England, more or less the same has happened. So I think that the team is perceived as a very strong one, especially as, facing adversity in the last few minutes of every game. We've seen a couple of comebacks by England in the last few minutes, and that is maybe one of the main, issues that Spain is going to try to solve in this final, because they want to keep a tight game. They want to keep ball possession. They want to try to be, very strong at the back in the defense and not give England chances to score, and especially in the first half, putting themselves in front, because that would complicate things for Spain.
Well, Spain, of course, have brilliant players of their own. There's Williams out wide. We're talking Rodri in the middle. Looking forward to his battle with Rice as well. There's Dani Olmo. But what about Lamine Yamal? Because he has been stand out. We saw the sensational goal he scored in the semi-final. Just 17 years old today. Let's talk about the tournament that he's had.
Yeah, definitely. Today is a birthday for Lamine Yamal, 17 years old. Everyone thinks about what they were doing when they were 17, and it's absolutely mind-blowing to see this guy just dominating the way he did in the semi-final with that amazing goal against the French. And Julia, definitely he's been one of the highlights of this Spanish side. After a very tough season with Barca, it wasn't really it was his debut, but he had to carry the team mostly on his own in many, many ways. And there were some questions about if he could really do that with the Spanish team. And obviously he had a wide level of help, because Dani Olmo, Nico Williams, Rodri, obviously, who is at this point Spain's, I would say, most important player in the midfield. And most of the squad has been responding. But the way Lamine performed in the semi-final, his amazing goal overall, I think that he's one of the biggest threats for England. And potentially, he could become one of the, if not the youngest winner of a Euro in the history of the tournament.
And this is a staggering stat, isn't it, Paco? Yamal was the only player from Barcelona or Real Madrid to start for Spain in that semi-final against France, which is almost unheard of, isn't it? What's been the reaction to that? How has that affected support of the national team? Is it in some ways a bit of a unifying thing, because you don't have the old rivalries of the Barcelona fans and the Real Madrid fans?
Yeah, you're spot on, man. I think I was going to say exactly that. Bringing in players from a wide range of different teams and not relying heavily on Real Madrid and Barca has created that sort of unifying effect between the fan base. Because for quite a few years, at least a few years ago, we were seeing 6, 7, 8 players coming from Barca, 6, 7, 8 players coming from Real Madrid. Obviously, that's also a showcase of how Real Madrid have been exploiting foreign talent and not really trusting national one, and also Barca's problems lately. But if you see the lineup, we have Athletic de Bilbao players, we have Leipzig players, we have Lamine coming from Barca, yes, he's the only one, but Rodri coming from City, Fabian coming from Betis, Morata coming from Atletico Madrid. So that kind of variety, I think it benefits quite a lot the Spanish national team. It's very young. You have plenty of players who are in their really big tournaments in their sport lives overall, and you combine that with the experience of Rodri, of Morata, of some of them, of Laporte and some of them, and overall I think it's a very interesting blend that so far it has worked quite well. And hopefully against England, even though all of our audience is English, I hope that we are able to succeed in this last game.
From 2008 to 2012, Spain really dominated not European football, but also world football. They won that World Cup final in 2010 out in South Africa, I remember. The question is, how does that Spain team, a golden generation, if you will, compare to this one?
Well, obviously, it's perceived as a golden era of Spanish football, mainly because of what Luis Aragonés brought into the table in 2008 with that big revolution of passing the ball, of which Guardiola made even higher in the following years. But there was a point where dominating in such a way for 4 consecutive years, it became some sort of a handicap for Spain, because the rest of the teams really knew and learned how to play against Spain. In 2014, we saw that. 2016, 2018, also in the last World Cup under Luis Enrique, for example, that game against Morocco, it was the perfect showcase of having loads of chances and being just unable to score. But this Spain under Luis de la Fuente has become much more clinical, much more precise, I would say surgically clinical in that first opening game with those 3 goals against Croatia. The thing is not only having the chances, having clear chances, and also having quality players, especially in the wings, Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams, who are able to turn those chances into goals. Dani Olmo is another one of those threats, in front. Even though Morata hasn't really been the goal scorer that he's supposed to be, he's working a lot in favor of the collective, in favor of the team. So yes, this Spain might not be as dominant. You don't have high-profile players as David Villa, David Silva, Xavi, Iniesta, those players, but these ones, I think we shouldn't scoff at them, because they can become eventually world-class players as those in the past.
It's a really fascinating battle, isn't it, between 2 very different sides, different players, possibly even different formations. So come on, Paco, what do you think's going to happen? How is this game going to play out? What is your prediction?
I think it really relies on if Gareth Southgate really wants to go for the game, or if he wants to be as cautious as he has shown in the past 6 games. I think that the talent that England has is much higher than the performance that the manager has been able to extract from them in the first few games. So it really depends on England. I think that Spain are going to follow their game plan as they have done in the first 6 games. I think that they're going to try to have the ball. They're going to always defend very tight at the back, trying to go in fast breaks. But if England want to go for the game, I think they will have a chance. If they remain very cautious, always trying to put on the forefront, being defensively strong, trying to get plenty of players in the midfield, things can get a bit spiky for them if they allow the first goal. So even though I think hopefully that Spain will win this game, I think it can be very tight depending on England's ambition. So hopefully for Spain, I'm talking about a 2-1 opening goals early in the first half. But if not, if England are a bit too wary about going for the game and going for the final, maybe Spain can get an early goal and dominate and have a bigger margin. So yeah, hopefully 2-1 for Spain, but I wouldn't leave aside England, because I consider them a very, very interesting and very talented squad.
All right, enjoy the final, Paco. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. That's Paco Polit from La Liga Lowdown.